Let's move on to the PFF preview. That good with you, Jake?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. We've been talking about hitting this for a while now. Let's go ahead and pop it up on the screen, full screen here, and give you guys an idea of how PFF is seeing this. I like to go a little – there we go. That's what I'm comfortable with right there. Hopefully you can see that okay, right, Jacob?
That'll work, yeah.
All right, cool. Are they really calling for light rain? How did I miss this? What is this, sorcerer? Let me go to the Weather Channel real quick. I thought for sure it was going to be fairly clear. Let's see, though, Jacob. Tomorrow.
From what I remember living in Nashville, is the weather will change on you real quick. You're in that weird dust bowl.
Yeah. So they're calling for 91 degrees, so it's dropped 4 degrees now. Nice. They're saying a little less humidity, sunshine and clouds mixed. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. So only a 20% chance, it looks like. If we go to the hourly here, people are like, I did not know I tuned in to the Weather Channel. Well, that's what you get on this show, all right? Congratulations. So kick off 1 o'clock. Yeah, 21% chance, and it drops down to 15%. Looks like during game time, probably not going to get above 90 degrees, what it sounds like. So there you go. I just seen that light rain up there, and I was like, what is that about? So, all right, here is the team metrics, okay? And let me just go ahead and jot this down real quick.
Show off this real quick. Rain is good. It'll wash the vomit off the ball. Thank you very much. Show off this.
Like the way you think. All right, so team metrics. Here we go. Summary. The Packers are this is according to PFF, the 12th best team in the league, power ranking overall. The Titans are 31st. Power ranking on defense, the Packers are 18th. The Titans are 23rd. But Jeffrey Simmons said, right? So power ranking on offense, they've got the Packers at 31st because they're assuming that Malik Willis is going to play. Okay, I don't like how they do that, but it is what it is. They've got the Titans 32nd, so should be a stinker. Might want to look at taking the under there now that we look at that metric. The under is set at – over-under set at 37.5 currently, okay? So strength of schedule played so far, the Packers are 21st in strength of schedule. The Titans are 18th. Average offensive snaps, Packers are averaging 69 offensive snaps. The Titans are averaging 66.5. Percentage of run plays, the Packers are running the ball 53% of the time. Titans are only running it 40% of the time. Percentage of pass plays, obviously the opposite of that, 46% for the Packers, 59% for the Titans. EPA per run for the Packers, minus 0.04, and the Titans are minus 0.11, so the Packers have the edge there. EPA per pass, the Packers are a positive 0.22, and the Titans are negative 0.25. So everything there on the team metrics, Jacob, suggests the Packers do have the advantage there. So here's what's crazy, too. Quarterback comparison, even with Malik Willis.
Just real quick, is it hard for you to sometimes understand, or I guess it's easy for you to understand how people sometimes are like, I don't understand these PFF grades. When you look at that sort of team matchup and somehow the Titans are favored. Do you know what I'm saying? Like where it's like, how are we looking at the same data and coming out with that conclusion?
Because it's played in Nashville. And I'm telling you, man, it's for as long as I've been keeping up with gambling in football, the home team gets 3 points. That's the way it works. That's
what it is.
Yeah. It just seems like it's always like that. Now, the PFF line, you'll notice it's typically a little bit different. Look at the PFF line right here. Currently, it's at Tennessee minus 1.7. The market has Tennessee at minus 2.5. So you see
That's
the
fair.
PFF is leaning towards Green Bay a little bit more. So if traditionally you're getting 3 points as the home team, kind of shows you the Packers are the better team here, right? I don't know if that makes sense, but
no, it does.
The market shifting around, it did get to the point where the market was Tennessee minus 1.5. That's when Jordan Love first practiced, and then that's kind of came back down to earth as some people believe he's not going to play. So we'll see tomorrow. Quarterback matchup, if it is Malik Willis, his PFF grade 66.8. Jacob, man, you can't ask for much more than that, bro. That's just wild. Will Levis, though, 46.9. Passer rating when clean, Will Levis with a clean pocket, 121.2. Will Levis with a clean pocket, nobody in his face, 80.3. Passer rating under pressure, Malik Willis, 109.7. Will Levis, 44.9.
Yeah.
Big time throw percentage, Malik Willis has had 0, so there's that. Will Levis, 2.6% big time throw percentage. Turnover worthy plays, Malik Willis has had 0, and Will Levis is giving you a turnover worthy play 2.6% of the time.
Is it weird?
Go ahead.
To me, a no turnover worthy, like a 0%. I mean, don't get me wrong. I thought that pass that he made to Wicks for the touchdown was an amazing pass, but you can't tell me that wasn't at least a little bit of a turnover worthy play. If that DB breaks just a half a second quicker, that's a turnover.
I don't think they count. I don't think they count it as it was almost, though. It either is or isn't. The reality is he put that ball on a perfect line. The DB jumped the route and it still wasn't good enough. That, I can't give him a negative for that, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Dude, it was perfect placement too. I mean, and he read the defense perfect too. He knew exactly what they were in. I'm pretty sure it was man coverage, is what it kind of felt like.
Yeah, that's what I saw. You know what? It's funny is because that was the same throw that Rodgers completed to Garrett, almost identical. You know what I mean? Rolling out, hitting him, just throwing the ball in the absolute only spot that the wide receiver can get. Turn up field, score, give the ball to a kid in number 23.
Definitely. So again, back to the betting odds. The currently it's showing the Titans are sitting as 3-point favorites. The value there has no bars filled up though, right? Money line, Green Bay plus 131 on the money line. I think that's I would take the points. If it's currently, the market is currently sitting at 3 points, I would take Green Bay plus 3. I feel pretty good about that personally. I would try to tease it to 3.5 and take a little off the profit there to protect yourself. But I would try to tease it to 3.5 personally. And again, over under is set at the over at 37.5 at a minus 110 as far as odds there. So you'll notice the Titans over here are 3-point favorites, or at least they were when it opened up. And that might be what that represents. Notice here, Jacob, Vikings are one of the hottest teams in the league after beating the 49ers, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're 3-point underdogs to Green Bay. Why? Because it's going to be at Lambeau Field.
Yep, good point.
So,
yeah.
And the early over-under or total there is set at 43. Let's go to the green line real quick and see if there's anything we need to see here. Let's see where the money's going, all right? So with the spread, Green Bay catching 3 points, and obviously Titans laying 3. PFF has it at a plus 1.7 for the Packers, so you see they've got it 2.3 off the market number there. Cover probability at 49% for the Packers, 50% for the Titans. Break even, 52.4 to 52.4, pretty even there. It'll be a close game, I think, man. The value pretty much, 0.6% off there. It doesn't show where the cash and the tickets are. That's what I came here for. That's interesting that they don't have that information. They'll usually show you who the public is on. So,
do you think again that's because like I said, I've lived in Nashville. They don't sell out until, if they do, it's like last minute. You get people that are in there on town buying tickets and scalping. And I just, again, it's not like it's a home game, but it's not a real away game where you have a crazy crowd that you're going against. You're going against a bunch of people just having fun, which is interesting.
Definitely. So here is some of your best bets according to PFF. Interesting to look at these. Malik Willis under 30.5 completions. Boy, I would hammer that. Me personally, I would hammer that. And you see, it's got the edge at 3.3. Sometimes the 3 bars filled up on this PFF edge is a little bit. It gives you a little too much confidence in that bet. I personally like to go 15% or higher, and you see that under 30.5 is at 19.9 there. Another one, Calvin Ridley, under 3.5 receptions is at 14.6, so I wouldn't touch that. Tony Pollard, under 2.5 receptions at 23.8%. That seems like, according to PFF data, pretty good little touch there. Tajay Spears, obviously, may not even play, right? Under 1.5 receptions at 19%. Here's another one. Boyd, is it Tyler Boyd, I believe? Is that it? Yeah. Tyler Boyd is under 2.5 receptions at 23.2% edge rate there for PFF. And another 3 bar just worth mentioning is under a half of a touchdown for Will Levis there. It's only 13. I wouldn't touch it. So there's some of your best bets. Now we'll get into the lineup matchup. Anything you want to add to that, man?
No, I mean that's wow. Am I reading that right? Wilson? You guys see Wilson on this page
Oh
right
yeah.
now?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Sorry, no, that just popped out in my face
I
right
hope he
there.
starts. Of course,
Oh
that's
my
just
lord.
base. That's base. So
Right.
watch when you go nickel. Womp, womp.
Wow, wow, wow.
I'm telling you, man, give him a chance. It's just like Edgerrin Cooper. Like, what do you got to lose, right? McDuffie's a 46.6 PFF grade right now. What do you got to lose putting Eric Wilson out there for the large majority of the snaps? He can't do no worse in PFF size, right? So
Right.
I think you got to give Eric Wilson a shot here. But for those of you who can't see the screen, we're in 11 personnel, which is what the Titans like to run a lot, and we're in our nickel 4-2-5 for the Packers, okay, which will be what we match here. So let's start with the offensive line. On the left, you got Latham at a 68.4 at left tackle. You got Skoronski left guard at 55.4. Cushenberry 62.8 at center. Raduns 68.8 at right guard, and then poor old Petit Frere, however you say his name, 53.0. Now, when you look at our defensive line, listen, it's not been a good start according to PFF. Preston Smith 63.4, Devontae Wyatt 56.2, Kenny Clark 39.8, and then Rashawn Gary 51.9. As far as sacks on the year so far, Devontae Wyatt has a sack and Rashawn Gary has a sack. So keep that in mind. And again, this right here is your matchup, Jacob. Rashawn Gary against their right tackle. I mean, that's
Nicholas Petit Fier, and he's going down.
Fier. All right, I got you. So, I mean, the dude, it's been cheeks. Pass block grade 48.5. He's a big old boy, too, 6'5", 316, third-round pick. Not sure who's coaching him up, but you really like that matchup there. Let's talk now. Let's talk their tight end, Okonkwo, I think is how you say it. 2022, his PFF grade was a 75.4. Last year, it was a 62.1. 2 games in this year, he's dropped to a 51.6. His run blocking grade is absolute booty cheeks. Remember, we talked about they're having success running to the left? This might be the issue right here. Your right tackle and your tight end can't block them way out of a paper bag. And look at their left tackle, right? Look at the run block grade. It matches up, right? 75.3 run block grade for J.C. Latham out of Alabama. So if we got to really focus on the running game on the left side, we really got to key in on that. But tight end wise, like I said, Okonkwo, a 51.6, nothing crazy to worry about there. And at our linebacker position, obviously you got Quay Walker at a 48.3. You got McDuffie at a 46.6. Like Jacob said, if we switch the base, look at Wilson.
Jesus.
I know it's a small amount of snaps, and it's definitely an outlier when you look at his career, right? 60, 62, 66, 53, 39, 56, 56, and all of a sudden, bang, 95. He had a good game. But still, why not give him a shot, right? March him out there. But at least get him a few extra snaps anyway. So
20 snaps. Can I get the guy 20 snaps?
That's 20. You know? Can we get 20?
Can I put a 20 on it?
20, twin. All right. So some of y'all got that one and probably unsubbed to the channel. So let's move on to wide receivers. You got DeAndre Hopkins. They've got him listed at 58.7. You got Boyd in the slot at 61.2. And then their best receiver, Calvin Ridley, is sitting at a 67.2. All right. Cornerback wise, our highest graded corner right now is Eric Stokes at a 69.3. Jair Alexander 61.2, and then Keyshawn Nixon in the slot sitting at a 59.3 currently.
Real quick, so Jair is technically not a starting cornerback, right? Based on that grade right there,
based according to PFF, that's correct. Now people will go, "That's just PFF." I got you. I hear what you're saying. Now go do the passer rating when targeted. And then the argument shifts to, but he has to cover number one receivers. Okay, how many damn excuses are we going to make? Like, I want the dude to pan out too, but you got to call a spade a spade. Like, passer rating when targeted is horrible. His missed tackle percentage is horrible. PFF says he's bad. I don't know what else is left other than he's got a good Madden rating. Like, I don't know what else to do. You know, it is what it is. So, it kind of feels like Kenny Clark the last couple of years. When you would mention Kenny was maybe a little bit overrated, you get kind of raked over the coals for it. And now people are really coming to the realization like, okay, maybe Kenny isn't as good as we think. I hope he blows up tomorrow. And again, it may take another week because this pass rush, you don't want Will Levis running all over you. You want to try to make him win the game from within the pocket. So.
And honestly, I get like too old for this. I rarely disagree with anything he says. He says the decline of D Hop needs to be studied. D Hop's old. He got old. He's a wide receiver that got old. That's exactly what happens when they get old. To me, the decline of Jair needs to be studied. Like that, to me, the decline of Kenny needs to be studied. The decline, you could argue, of Rashawn needs to be studied. Like I just guys that are still young in their prime that have fallen off. That's to me, DeAndre Hopkins. That's a specimen right there. I mean,
he's 32 years old. You're right, Jake. 32, man. That's grandpa at wide receiver, bro. You know.
Right.
And again, when you look at his best years were 2015 at a 90.6, then he drops to 77.8, then he's back up to a 90.2, back up to a 92, then it's 87.8, 87.1, 79.8, 72.9. Last year he rebounds at an 81, and this year early on a 58.7. So,
and he's got Will Levis as his quarterback.
Right.
That's
not ideal the way he's playing ball. So speaking of Will Levis, 46.9 is the PFF grade. Amongst the 33 starting quarterbacks, he's 29th. So it's hard to believe there's other people that are worse than him. Last year, 63.7. I thought he played well last year. Me personally, I was like, okay, he's showing some promise. Man, he has taken a major step back this year. And again, it's early, and we hope this isn't the game that he has to come an out party. But the big thing you want to key in on, Jacob, imagine what his overall grade will be without that 70.1 rushing grade.
Right. That's what I'm going to say.
His passing grade is a 42.1. That's absolutely. I had a Titans fan in the comments earlier today on YouTube going, y'all don't know what you're talking about. Will Levis has got he's got a great arm. I'm going, bro, you are not watching the same football games we've watched. He may have a great game, but if you've convinced yourself he's having a good season, yeah. I want to say I'm too drunk to taste that chicken. I might want to try that chicken, actually, because that must be some good chicken. If you believe he's playing good at the good quarterback this season, because I'm telling you, it's been cheek so far. So there you go with Will Levis. And then, of course, Tony Pollard, to me, he's one of the players that I picked as a Tuesday player. If you can really key in on stopping him, I don't think this Titans offense can do much. You got to focus on stopping Tony Pollard. He was a good back when he was in Dallas. Obviously, he was behind Zeke there for a couple of years. But his overall grades career-wise, 82.9, 71.7, 86, 90.2 in 2022, 77.5 last year, and he's still at a 71.8 so far through 2 games this year. His running grade is a 70. His receiving grade, a 67.1. That's the guy you got to stop, Jacob. That dude right there, Tony Pollard. Stop Pollard and Ridley. They got nothing else. It's a good point. And I think I'm okay with giving I don't think we should blitz Will Levis. I don't want to see 6 pass rushers. I want him to have to read that secondary with 7 guys back there. Yeah. At a minimum, 6 guys back there, right, in coverage. That's what I want him to do. If we start firing blitzes and he knows, okay, this is man coverage across the board, and we kind of give him the answers to the test pre-snap, that's going to bother me a little bit. So again, Tony Pollard, to me, that's their main thing. Calvin Ridley, Tony Pollard, and I had mentioned Chig. Like you said, the yak is in the basement, so probably not much to worry about there. They definitely are scheming open the tight ends because of the amount of separation they're getting. That may be teams biting on the play action because they know they got to stop Tony Pollard. They win the game.
Does it seem like the Titans are the stereotypical team of like, we can win this year type of stuff? Like they get a seemingly best wide receiver in Hopkins. They get a guy like Boyd who they signed, who was the number 3 in Cincinnati for a long, long time. They get Calvin Ridley, who was a quote unquote threat in Jacksonville for a while. They try to piece these all together. They get Pollard. They get a guy like Chig, who they've had for a couple of years now, but it just seems like they were trying to piece together something to make it work, and it just doesn't. Like they didn't have any continuity there. There was no, in my opinion, there was no like really in-depth scouting as to how these guys are going to actually work together. To me, it just seemed like this is the stereotypical. We talk about how we are glad we don't have a GM, and we don't quite. We have Goody, but we don't have an owner, I should say. And the owner seems like he's the type of guy that'd be like, make these moves, moves, and that just seems like an owner move right there. And then when you look at it, the coaches just look at each other like, what did we get here? Right. We got a bunch of ingredients that turns out to a poop cake. Like, what do I do?
Exactly. All right, let's switch it over to the Packers offensive side of the ball and the Titans nickel defense. So we're going 11 personnel. We talked about that's the majority of what we're going to see tomorrow from the Packers. Let's start with the offensive line. Rasheed Walker, 64.0. Elton Jenkins, 80.4. Let's go. Josh Myers, same old, 54.4. Sean Ryan, 61.0. Listen, it's bad, but at least it's not 54.4. Zach Tom, 77.0. So essentially what you've got is the tackle position. We talked about their best pass rusher is Landry right here, right? And you see his pass rush grade is actually, according to PFF, isn't that great, but through everything next gen stats, that seems to be the greatest threat for getting to the quarterback. His pass rush grade is only a 58.8. That gives me a little bit better feeling there from the second round pick. So Zach Tom matched up on Landry will be huge. Rasheed Walker is going to be fine over there. Their interior, again, Jeffrey Simmons seems to be their best player. Now you see 2020, 83.3.
That's a guy that's fallen off.
Yeah,
tell you what.
it looks like it does. It really does. And it's kind of, before it fell off too, Jacob, it's kind of up and down, up and down. Now, again, I know y'all get tired of hearing me say it, but you got to mention the 59.6 is only 2 games, right? We got to mention that he could very well go back to that 80 in no time with it being early in the season. But, last year, 68.4. I mean, he was the 36th highest graded defensive tackle, or defensive lineman, I should say. So he was borderline starter. It's just, I don't know. I don't think that guy has, earned the right to stand up there and
I was going to say the bona fides. He doesn't have the right to be talking as if he's Aaron Donald, and he's talking like he's Aaron Donald. And that guy, I think that if anything, he may have just hindered his team completely, because you're about to get the best, in my opinion. If you start poking fun at like they can't do this, they can't do that, then watch Sean Ryan and Josh Myers come out and have the best games of their lives just because they want to make you wrong. I will say right next to him though is a guy that I liked a lot in the draft was TJ Slayton was T'Vondre Sweat. Yeah. I mean, he's a big beast of a man.
Hey, he's starting off pretty decent, Jake.
It's kind of crazy that his best grade is a pass rush grade. Yeah. I mean, and that's a giant man who people thought could be a legitimate top 10, top 20 pick, who fell because he had some off-field some stuff going on there. So
the weight issue,
the weight issue.
They got him listed at 362. Yeah, hey, listen, Hattie B's right across that river, Jacob. You got to be careful. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I know.
It got you too, huh?
Yep, yeah, it did.
All right, so offensive line wise, that's how the Packers stack up. Their defensive front, Key at right outside linebacker or right edge, we should say 58.1. Jeffrey Simmons 59.6. T'Vondre Sweat, like Jacob said, 64.1, and then Landry at a 66.1. I like our matchup on the offensive line. Nothing there really worries me at all. I'm trying to think, like we keep looking at it. How do we stop the Titans? How do we stop the Titans? And I'm trying to think, what do they have the advantage in, Jacob? Like what, if you were to look at these two teams and we hit the next gen stats stuff, all the insights, we're talking PFF now. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think, they got us there? What is it? I'm having a hard time finding.
I can't think. I would honestly say interior defensive line, just because if they really do, if Simmons and Sweat are that good or seemingly that good, and they can take advantage of maybe Myers and Ryan, or because Morgan's not playing, right? That's what's been ruled out, I believe.
That's correct. Yeah.
So I really do think, here, Coach Lynn usually is a man that's much smarter than I am. He says Sweat and Simmons is a problem for sure.
That seems to be the only, that's the spot right now. Keep in mind too, at the stack backer position, you got Ernest Jones. Last year, 78.8. This year, he seems to be on pace again, 76.0. He's only 24 years old, former 3rd round pick out of South Carolina. Pass rush grade, 74.2. Run defense grade, 61.8. Coverage grade, 76.3. So
that's nice.
That might help take the middle of the field away. I just had a flashback from Anzalone in Detroit, with the interceptions last year. It's like, all right, we don't want to get into that, So be careful on the blind play action, which if Malik Willis is your starting quarterback, I don't think you're going to be playing with that too much, really.
And what's crazy is we get obsessed with our linebacker size and weight. Look at him. He's 6'2", he's 230.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's right in there with the quote unquote, he's an unsized guy or whatever, but nah, not really. Kenneth
their
Murray,
other,
yeah.
their
Wow.
other backer, good pass rush grade. Other than that, his run defense grade 28.6. Let's try to run on these cats, Jacob.
Let's
You know
go.
what I mean? Let's try to
go.
establish the run. Use that bulletin board material that Jeffrey Simmons gave you, and let's try to pound the rock here a little bit.
And you know what? I'm starting to become a believer that Josh Jacobs is that guy who just don't give no darn. He's going to run, and if you give him 30 plus, I can't remember the last time that a Green Bay running back got over 30 carries, and that each time that he kept getting the rock, it's like he's getting better, he's getting better, he's getting better, and now it's like I feel like Josh Jacobs is that type of person.
And immediately after the game, they asked him, how do you feel? That's a big workload. He said, I feel good. Now, the next day, he had a sore back.
Yeah.
I've been there. I was actually there this morning, believe it or not. But, yeah, to me, man, the stuff he did last week, bouncing it out, and, I'm excited about Josh Jacobs. We just got to protect him. I know he's going to be – you sign him to be that bell cow, but if you go to running him 30 times a game every week, he is going to get beat up. But his PFF grade currently sitting at 73.3, 12th highest grade in that regard. We talked about the improbable rushes and things like that through next-gen stats that would lead you to believe he's a legit top 3 running back. So, again, that's why it's important to look at PFF and look at some of those other key statistics.
Mr. John Schmidt in the chat says, I think the last running back with 30 carries per game was Ahman Green. Now, chat, let's go check this out, because if that's true – dude, that's legit.
Sure
that's a big scheme change, right? I mean, Ahman Green, I was still in my whitey tighties as a young man. I was a young buck there.
Young lad. All right, so there is just a little look at the running backs and the linebackers. Again, don't be afraid to attack Kenneth Murray's side of the field. And if they are interchangeable and they try to keep him on, that's the beautiful thing about a wide zone weak run scheme like LaFleur liked to do a lot last year. If they start to key in on the weak side, now you've got the hat count on the strong side of the formation. And what I mean by that is if they're watching tape and they pick up on Green Bay's tendency is to run outside zone weak, then they'll go, okay, we're just going to put Jones over there. We're going to pop our best linebacker in on the weak side for this game. And then in obvious passing situations, we'll make sure he's covering the seam, right? When you do that, now Green Bay can counter and go strong side. So guess what happens now? Now you've got the hat count because they thought you were going to zig and you zag. You got the hat count and you got the worst linebacker on that side of the field. So,
really, Ryan? Really?
Ryan Schlip, you still
really?
Body tighty. Stop it.
Come on, it.
Got the Ryan. He's got the Cheeto stains on the hip too, bro.
Jeez, yeah. One thing real quick before we move on. Look at L'Jarius Sneed, the guy they just paid big money for. We're talking about how we're disappointed in our big money cornerback. That's been look at L'Jarius Sneed over there, 37.8. That's
96.
Oh, that's all right. It could be worse.
Jacob, I'm gonna say it again. Only 2 games. Now here's what's crazy. When there were some people saying, hey, let's go trade for L'Jarius Sneed. And I was going, no, 72.5 is good, but you're going to give up draft picks and give him top cornerback money? Hell no.
Right. Yeah.
But here's the problem. Or the reason he got paid was because he was one of the best press corners in the game last year, according to Greg Cosell and some other people that I trust their assessment of the tape. So that's what they paid him for, was to play press. It really is. All right, he's got a great ability to play press. But you're right, man. Been in the league since 2020, 68.4, 63.6, 77.7, 72.5, and this year, only 2 games, 37.8. He's been absolutely cooked. I'm going to jump in here in a second to SIS data. Do not let me forget, Jacob, because we're almost done here. I want to know what his passer rating when targeted is this year, okay? So don't let me forget that.
Yep.
So, yeah, L'Jarius Sneed, nothing to write home about there. You got Awuzie. I think is how you say his name. Sounds like a rapper.
Chidobe Awuzie.
That's right. Got a nice album hitting in March. I'll be ready. So his PFF grade 69.0. He's the 29th highest graded corner in the league as it sits right now. Last year he was a 62.6. So it's not like he's any kind of stud by no stretch of the imagination. But decent coverage grade 70. Obviously, he seems to be their best corner according to PFF right now. In the slot, they've got Roger McCreary. That sounds like a Caucasian painter, doesn't it? Roger McCreary.
Sounds like that guy does my taxes. He don't
exactly. Exactly.
He's not a cornerback in the NFL.
So 62.6, 71.3 this year so far, 2 games, 65.4 with a coverage grade of 68.3. So that's how he's sitting currently. Slot corner, 66 snaps. Obviously, he is their slot corner. There's no doubt about that. I want to see how many snaps L'Jarius finished in the slot. Only 3, so he's definitely not traveling. And Awuzie, only 2. So yeah, they're not traveling. There's no doubt about that. Meaning, corners aren't following number 1 receivers. So
Right.
Should be a good scheme day, definitely. All right, so we hit linebackers. Let's talk safeties real quick. At the free safety position, again, these are very interchangeable. Don't see them as free and strong. I'm just going to mention it because PFF does. 2023, Quandre Diggs. There were people calling for us to sign Quandre Diggs, and I'm not sure what tape. Notable, prominent people who watch tape and know what they're talking about were saying, yeah, let's go get Quandre Diggs. And I'm going, boys, you ain't selling me on that Kirby. I can't do it. I cannot do it. Coverage grade, 56.4. Run defense grade 48.4. Last year, he was a 55.1 overall. This year, 52.4. So that could be a weak spot in that secondary. And then, of course, Amani Hooker, their better safety. Pass rush grade is really helping out his overall 66.1 grade. He's got a pass rush grade of 81.4. Coverage grade 67.0. Run defense from these safeties, Jacob, not that good, bub.
Booty cheeks.
So
honestly, what I'm seeing right now is like you talked about. I see Matt LaFleur getting to his bag, doing a lot of drag motion, a lot of getting people in position that aren't wanting to be in that position. And I think that they're going to absolutely make a lot of these outside corners that don't want to be guarding guys like Gene Reed and maybe Bo Melton and those types are going to have to try and follow him. And if they can't, then okay, we're just going to hand it off to Josh Jacobs and let's see if your safeties can freaking tackle this beast.
Yeah, and if they do start loading the box with those safeties, don't be afraid to test these guys deep. Even if it's Malik Willis, you've seen it last week. Yep. Throw a jump ball out there to Dobby or Christian Watson, and you make sure they know, listen, if we take a shot, put enough air under it like Malik did last week so you can go up and make a play or at least bat it down.
That's so funny. Look what Omer just literally, as you're saying that, he goes, what a dandy grab last week that was by Romeo going over the top and taking what the cornerback must have thought was going to be an interception.
Snatched it away. Just snatch it away from him like a child, like stealing Mountain Dew from a baby in the hills of Appalachia. So, all right, there you go. That is your PFF preview, as unprofessionally as we could possibly do it. I think we succeeded, Jacob. Let's got just a couple minutes here. I want to hit on the SIS data before I forget, and want to kind of see what was it we said. L'Jarius Sneed passer rating when targeted, right? Is what we want to look at. I've got this already pre-filtered. This is just Packers and just Titans. Okay, so at the quarterback position, if we go rates here, let me scroll this over real quick. Give me just a second. I want to get the rating on the screen. God, there's so many statistics here. This might be hard to pull off. Let's see. Give me just a second. Let me straighten this up a little bit more. It's going to drive me nuts. All right. So passer rating, obviously Malik Willis, 122.8. Jordan Love, 83.0. Will Levis is a 67.3 passer rating, okay? Interception percentage is up to 5% for Will Levis. His sack percentage, 9.6% of the time he is sacked. So really, really interesting there. As far as catchable balls, Malik Willis is 100%.
Is that good? What does that mean, Clayton? High score. What does that mean? Did I break it?
Percentage, 78.6. Now, here's what's crazy. Will Levis has been more accurate than Jordan Love, according to PFF, right? Now, again, I don't care how accurate you are. If you're going to make knucklehead decisions, you're going to get knucklehead results, and that's what's happened with Will Levis this year, no doubt. So keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and jump over to pass defense so we don't run out of time. And, again, this is sorted by just Packers and Titans. So we're going to kind of get to see our corners and their corners on the same page and kind of see how they match up. So rating against, as it sits right now, this is the entire defense, okay? Let's kind of filter out some of the noise here. Let's start with the first cornerback. Well, safety. Here we go. Titans. Look at this. One coverage snap. All right. We're not going to count that one either. Right. Let's see. All right. Yeah. Carrington Valentine, who's obviously out in this game, most likely he's doubtful, right? He has the best passer rating when targeted. That's really exciting. I'm interested to see when he gets healthy if that continues. So Amani Hooker, according to SIS, this is why we cross-check. Passer rating when targeted, only 39.6. So he seems to be
He's
playing
got a good
pretty
amount
well.
of snaps there. That's not
Yep.
no
Quay
drop in the
Walker,
bucket. Yep.
like we talk about, Quay Walker is our best pass cover linebacker at a 45.1 passer rating when targeted, according to these key statistics. Keyshawn Nixon, 56.3. Evan Williams, only 13 coverage snaps, but a 56.3. Roger McCreary, all right, the old Jacobs tax guy, CPA, 57.6 rating against out of the slot. So he seems to be playing fairly well against, on passing defense out of the slot. Xavier McKinney, 60.4. We've talked about him. Quandre Diggs, 66.7. Not horrible, even though the PFF grade is kind of low. Eric Stokes, 66.7. Jarvis Brownlee Jr., only 21 coverage snaps.
He's a rookie. That's a rookie out of Louisville that actually me and Tim highlighted once. So that's kind of cool. See that?
So here's our boy, L'Jarius Sneed, 78.5. Okay. For the money you're paying him, yeah, that's not great, in my opinion. And again, the PFF grade, you throw everything into an entire ball. I'm not crazy impressed with L'Jarius Sneed. There's Ernest Jones, 79.2. So
Clayton, scroll down a few players and talk about how we're paying. Jair,
don't you start this again.
I'm just saying, man. You got to see something. You got to say something. It's L'Jarius Sneed. I'm giving this guy all sorts of crap, and then I look down and it's like, oh, he's considerably better than Jair. Cool.
So Awuzie, 83.3. You might be able to pick on him a little bit, man. Might be able to do it. Obviously, Jair, we talked about this morning, 97.9 is his passer rating when targeted. Javon Bullard, we hit on that at 110.4. And then Kenneth Murray Jr., remember the PFF had him just absolutely in the dumps in pass coverage. Linebacker for the Titans, 150.0. He has 100% completion percentage.
That's crazy.
According to SIS, if there is no hiccups in their system, he has not caused one incompletion, and he's had 57 coverage snaps. He's been targeted 8 times. All 8 times the ball was caught, according to that. Now, Ernest Jones has 100%, but look, he's only been targeted once. So decent PFF grade for Ernest Jones at stackbacker for the Titans would suggest he's only been targeted once. He's probably playing pretty good coverage would be my guess. So there is your pass defense looks there. Let's go to pass rush real quick because we know how important that is. And let's take a look at that from the Packers' perspective and from the Titans' perspective. Then we'll wrap this big bear up. I'm going to go take a 2-hour nap and then hit the road to Chattanooga. Ryan, if you're still in the chat, I don't know if you are or not. I haven't had a chance to tell you this, but you're my favorite podcast. I'm just joking. We're going to be at the game tomorrow, okay? We're going to be at the game tomorrow. So if you do a in-game show or whatever and you want like some live shots of the stadium, let me know. Send me the link, and I'll hop on and give you some shots from our seat. It might be sweat running down the lens because it's going to be so dang hot. But we'll
say all you're going to see is Emilio naked running through the trailer park. That's all you're going to see.
Don't say that. Don't you dare say that. Let's see if we can filter out some of this noise here, because pressure percentage, obviously, what would be the minimum pressures?
Say 20 or 30. Is that fair?
No. It had to be. Yeah, we're talking about pressures themselves. Let's just try to up it to 3 and see what happens.
Do it by snaps or by pressures?
Pressures it makes you do it by pressures on SIS.
Okay.
So let's just take a quick gander, see what that filters out here. I think that's pretty good, pretty decent. Well, I don't know, man. You really? So the guy that's been running his mouth ain't even got 3 pressures yet? That's interesting. Let's go 2. Get a few more players. I want to be able to poke fun of them if they haven't been playing as well as their interviews suggest. So let's see here. Let's go 2 pressures and see if we get the majority of these guys on the screen. So, all right, let's go with this. See Harold Landry. There's T'Vondre Sweat. Yeah. So pressure percentage with the players on the field that are actual pass rushers. Let's remove the linebackers, the corners, the safeties, all that. Sebastian Joseph Day for them. Okay. He has 17 pass snaps, 11.8% pressure rate. Okay. So he's not going to be starting in the nickel according to PFF, right? But first on the list for us, Devontae White at 11.1%, Kenny Clark at 8.9%. Harold Landry is getting the same amount of pressure as Kenny Clark. Now, keep in mind, Harold Landry is going to be an edge defender. Kenny Clark's playing on the interior, so that's not necessarily a good thing. Rashawn Gary right there with Landry at 8.9%. We got to take advantage of that bad right tackle tomorrow for Gary. If Gary has an off day tomorrow and there's a significant amount of snaps where you can tell they're actually getting aggressive and rushing him, and I'm not saying they will, but if I see that on tape, I'm going to let y'all know, and I'll be the first one to call it out. He needs to have a big game tomorrow. He does. Yeah. Preston Smith, 7.1%. Tavondre Sweat, 5.4%. And then Arden Key at 4.3%. Where is our boy at, Jacob? Are we going to have to take it to one pressure? Holy cow. Where is our boy Jeffrey Simmons? Because he kind of sounded – he just wanted that mouth.
As far as we're searching out, we might as well look for Brenton Cox Jr., right? I mean,
there you go. Yeah, look at this. Jeffrey Simmons. 53 pass rushes.
That's
on
quite a bit.
Snaps. Only a 2% pressure percentage. That's interesting. So glad we looked up that.
Does Jeffrey Simmons want to be a pass rusher when he grows up, or
I don't know. We'll see if Brenton Cox Jr. can give him some pointers. You know what I mean?
Just saying.
So there you go. There's a little bit of SIS deep dive as well as your PFF preview. Hopefully everybody could see that information, and we on the podcast, hopefully we communicated it well enough that you understand exactly what we're looking at tomorrow in that regard. But I'm excited, Jacob. I'm excited to watch this game live and in person, drink some ice cold bruchachas, and have some good food too down there in Nashville. It's going to be awesome. As a matter of fact, that's not the bridge side of the stadium, is it? I'm trying to think. That's facing east there. Am I looking at that right, Jacob? Isn't that facing east? Like the bridge would be at our back, right?
I was going to say the bridge would be on the other side, if I remember correctly.
Cool.
Yep.
So if you look at the red seats, this is my understanding, the red seats on the right side there on that second level, that's where our seats are going to be. And you see the glass windows above those seats. We have access to a little mini atrium there that's got our own concessions and everything. So we paid extra to have access. So if it gets hot, you're going to see Clayton walk his obese butt right up those steps and go stand in that window in the air conditioner and watch the game. So that's
Mr. Mikey Riggs says, you going to have me some 2-liter Mountain Dew?
I'm going to wrestle a 2-liter of Mountain Dew away from a 4-year-old in Nashville, Tennessee. So there you go. Anything else, Jacob? We went way over. Surprise.
No, man. I hope you guys have a great time. Like I said, check out Hattie B's. There's a couple other great like taco spots, maybe if you're in the mood.
I love tacos, man. You kidding me?
Bakersfield, if they still have that there, is great. Anything on Broadway is going to be fun. But check out Skull's Rainbow Room. If you want to have something that's maybe a little bit different, check that out. It'll be fun, dude. You guys have fun. Make sure Emilio doesn't get lost and stolen and taken. You know, he still has that baby face. You don't want him to get abducted and taken. He looks like a little boy.
I could see that.
This is poor Jordan's like, I lost Emilio.
Or Jordan would be like, I lost Emilio. You never know. We're just messing. It's going to be a good time. He called me earlier and was just like, hey, what's the plan? This is the hotel. This is pretty good. It looks a little too classy for me, but I wanted to show you that rooftop where we're going to be hanging out at, if I could find it. Bang. Let's see here. Come on. So this is just the main hub. That sucks. Never mind.
No, dude.
So they got them all over the country.
All of the new Nashville high rises, even when I was living there, are like unbelievable. When you look at the rooftop, it's like your goal is to basically make the other rooftop that you can see within visible like distance just feel like crap. They just keep one upping each other. It's just how they do. It's just how they do it.
So on their mobile site, you can actually see the rooftop lounge. So what we're going to do is, as soon as the game's over, we're going to come straight back over, do the post-game show, okay? And then we got reservations that evening in the rooftop lounge overlooking the skyline of Nashville. It's going to be – and it's not like overly fancy either. It's cool. They said they serve like bar foods like burgers and wings and stuff. So Mandy will have to drag me back downstairs away from the food and, shut out that night. So anyway, that's it, guys. We're out. Appreciate y'all. Everything goes as planned. There will not be a pregame show tomorrow. There will be a postgame show. We usually go live immediately following the game, but you got to give me time to get back to the hotel. Jacob and Tim want to go live immediately following the game. That's totally cool. And then when we get to the hotel room, we can jump in. That's totally fine too. And we'll just give you 10, 15 minutes of our takeaways, that type of thing. I will definitely be trying to tweet out stuff all day long to give you guys kind of a little look at the stadium and all that good stuff, give you a little bit different perspective.
So Turtles is already blaming the loss on my hat. I will be fair. I shouldn't wear this hat. This is an old school hat. And too old for this is calling you out, Clayton. Says Clayton has that Michael Scott Paper Company money.
Right. You can't hide credit, baby. You can't hide credit. You know what I'm saying? Nah, it should be a good time, man. I'm that dude that I haven't had a car payment in over a decade, and I drive a clunker and pay cash for everything, and I'm just a cheapskate. But I waste money on sports. That's what I do.
I mean, you're a boss at Ross. You're quite partial to Marshalls.
I can see that, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't do my own shopping. Mandy just says, "Here, put this on." I go, "Okay, yes, ma'am." That's me. So
Yes, man.
how it works. That's why she. I removed her right to make fun of the way I dress. Because sometimes I walk out of that bedroom, we go out to dinner, and then she give me this look like, "What the hell do you have?"
You created me.
She'll throw a flag on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, get back in there, change clothes. That's the way it works. So, all right, we're out, guys. Appreciate y'all. We will talk to you tomorrow during the post-game show. Everybody enjoy the game. If you got any questions or anything, or just want to hit us up, you can find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Shoot me a DM. And, I might pop on to Ryan's live stream if he's doing one, if he wants us to. So, for those of you listening on the pod, thank you for making us part of your day again. Thank you, iRock, for the kind words there, buddy. We don't think it's a W stream. It sucks. The whole show sucks, but we still have fun. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world.
Bon dia.
Go, Pack, go.